Hello and welcome to UFF Russia Football Roundup.
Trust me, we hate you.
Go Portugal!
Ref, he was a bit racist, let's be honest.
Come on, England!
Croatia.
Greatest World Cup memory?
Definitely 1994. Yeah. Well, I think we didn't win the World Cup for such a long time, and our team was not believed, like we wasn't believing that we could win, and we got stronger and stronger and stronger. And Bebeto and Romario, man, that was a team.
2002, absolutely. We were champions in Japan, and I remember because of the time. I mean, it was like afternoon in Japan. In Brazil, it was evening, so we were like watching the games like 3 in the morning. And even though it was like fucking difficult to watch the games, it was so nice, you know, like all the neighbors, you know. So yeah, definitely the World Cup of 2002.
1998, of course, that's the best. We won 3rd place, so that's, I think, for every fan, Croatia team, best year ever.
Well, the worst World Cup memory, I think, was the 2nd one. That was the bad one, and it was on my birthday, 8th of July. I can never forget that.
Where were you when that happened?
I was making a big party celebrating my birthday, and that happened. I don't talk much about that.
Best World Cup memory, Zidane, headbutt, man, honestly, because that's when I was the youngest. I remember seeing that. Crazy, bro. I was just, I'm saying, I was his last World Cup, final and everything there, and I'm just like, he just went nuts, bro.
My one would be Italia 90, taking it way back. England in the quarterfinals against Belgium. Last minute of extra time, ball got dropped in, David Platt on the swivel on the volley, top bins. And I remember that, just sitting at home and my dad going mad and plates and everything going flying and all sorts, and my mum going mad and because he broke the best china and everything. So yeah, they're my memories, man, of the World Cup.
For me, Serbia beating Germany 1-0 in the group stages, 2006.
Hello and welcome to UFF Russia Football Roundup.
Trust me, we hate you.
Go Portugal!
Ref, he was a bit racist, let's be honest.
Come on, England!
Croatia.
Greatest World Cup memory?
Definitely 1994. Yeah. Well, I think we didn't win the World Cup for such a long time, and our team was not believed, like we wasn't believing that we could win, and we got stronger and stronger and stronger. And Bebeto and Romario, man, that was a team.
2002, absolutely. We were champions in Japan, and I remember because of the time. I mean, it was like afternoon in Japan. In Brazil, it was evening, so we were like watching the games like 3 in the morning. And even though it was like fucking difficult to watch the games, it was so nice, you know, like all the neighbors, you know. So yeah, definitely the World Cup of 2002.
1998, of course, that's the best. We won 3rd place, so that's, I think, for every fan, Croatia team, best year ever.
Well, the worst World Cup memory, I think, was the second one. That was the bad one, and it was on my birthday, 8th of July. I can never forget that.
Where were you when that happened?
I was making a big party celebrating my birthday, and that happened. I don't talk much about that.
Best World Cup memory, Zidane, that headbutt, man. Honestly, because that's when I was the youngest. I remember seeing that. Crazy, bro. I was just, I'm saying, I was his last World Cup final and everything there, and obviously like he just went nuts, bro.
My one would be Italia 90, taking it way back. England in the quarterfinals against Belgium. Last minute of extra time, ball got dropped in. David Platt on the swivel on the volley, top bins. And I remember that, just sitting at home and my dad going mad and plates and everything going flying and all sorts, and my mum going mad and because he broke the best china and everything. So yeah, they're my memories, man, of the World Cup.
For me, Serbia beating Germany 1-0 in the group stages, 2006.
Hello and welcome to UFF Russia Football Roundup.
Trust me, we hate you.
Go Portugal!
Ref, he was a bit racist, let's be honest.
Come on, England!
Croatia.
Greatest World Cup memory?
Definitely 1994. Yeah. Well, I think we didn't win the World Cup for such a long time, and our team was not believed, like we wasn't believing that we could win, and we got stronger and stronger and stronger. And Bebeto and Romario, man, that was a team.
2002, absolutely. We were champions in Japan, and I remember because of the time. I mean, it was like afternoon in Japan. In Brazil, it was evening, so we were like watching the games like 3 in the morning. And even though it was like fucking difficult to watch the games, it was so nice, you know, like all the neighbors, you know. So yeah, definitely the World Cup of 2002.
1998, of course, that's the best. We won 3rd place, so that's, I think, for every fan, Croatia team, best year ever.
Well, the worst World Cup memory, I think, was the second one. That was the bad one, and it was on my birthday, 8th of July. I can never forget that.
Where were you when that happened?
I was making a big party celebrating my birthday, and that happened. I don't talk much about that.
Best World Cup memory, Zidane, that headbutt, man. Honestly, because that's when I was the youngest. I remember seeing that. Crazy, bro. I was just, I'm saying, I was his last World Cup final and everything there, and obviously like he just went nuts, bro.
My one would be
Real fan opinions brought to you by Wash and Go. Hello and welcome to FanPark Live. I'm joined by Adam and Chris here in the studio. England have been beaten by the better team tonight in Croatia, 2-1 in Moscow. A valiant effort throughout the whole tournament by England, but for me, beaten by Croatia, who have been pretty much the second or third best team throughout the whole of this tournament, especially through the group stages. We want to hear from you though. 0203 606 0315. We want to know how you're feeling as England fans, as neutrals. Give us a bell now. We want to come and hear what you're saying. Football isn't coming home. We all know it was a meme, though, don't we? Well, Adam didn't. Adam was serious about these things. But, boys, just over to you boys quickly. I'll go to you first, Adam. How are you feeling as an England fan right now?
First of all, I'm proud because I think every player's given it 100%. Every one of them players that's come off with an injury, with cramp, Kieran Trippier, you saw him on the bench at the end. They've given it their all. They've put shifts in. Ashley Young as well, considering he's over 30, and he's just been quality. But yeah, obviously I'm disappointed that we lost. But as I say, proud, immensely proud that England have got to the semi-final when nobody expected it. So, yeah,
mate, I concur with that. I mean, I'm seeing the comments here coming through on social media, and look, it's what I expect. Social media is a cauldron of hate and abuse at times. You know what I mean? From some people break their legs and they get people abuse them. So I'm not surprised. And England surpassed every expectation of this very young squad at this tournament. And look, of course, people get carried away, people get excited, they start to dream and believe, and it's coming home. I think people in their heart of hearts were like, it's still going to be a very tough thing to do. Yeah. It's one of those things there. But I wouldn't change the meme, I wouldn't change the hashtag, I wouldn't change the tournament for anything, because it's made my country fall back in love with football again. And anyone who's hating, anyone who's giving rubbish, again, you're not going to get a reaction out of me at all, because you are looking at the proudest Englishman in the whole world. I love my country to the bottom of my heart, and keyboard warriors, you're never going to be able to damage that. My skin is thick, my brain is more intelligent than you, and I slept with your mum. No, I ain't joking. Chris, mate, from your point of view, obviously, you're in the... Well, we'll come to Chris in a minute. We've got a call we'll jump straight into first of all.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hiya, it's David.
Hello, David.
David, how you feeling, brother?
All right, mate. Disappointed.
Yep.
But proud of them.
Yes.
Got to be proud of them. I think second half, Croatia were the better team.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I think they just sort of fell short at the final hurdle, didn't they? Croatia was a better team. There's not much you can say about it, really, is there? It's over, it's done with. But they got further than what, to be honest, I thought they would. I didn't think they'd get this far, and let's hope now they can only get better.
And absolutely, and I think when it comes to expectations, aside from how a team plays, I think it's important to remember what the expectations were at the start. So in England, for me, it was getting through the group stages with this squad, with Gareth Southgate. I thought, well, that'd be an achievement. Quarterfinals was like, if we won that, get to quarterfinals, I was really happy. So to be in a semi, to be competitive for parts of that game against a Croatia side that they call that team their golden generation. Yeah. This is their last World Cup together. They're in a fight. I hope they go on and win it. No disrespect to France, because they're the underdogs. That's the only reason. They won't win it though. No, it's not a knock at France. It's not. It's not. It's because I wanted the underdogs to win every single game at this World Cup. But I think France will do it. This England team did very, very well, and I think it's really important out there I implore England fans to not, if you suddenly started to dream that we may win it, don't judge them based on that expectation. You go back to what you expected at the start of the campaign, start of the World Cup. Really appreciate your call, mate. Thank you.
Exactly.
Cheers,
That's
mate.
fine, mate. All right. Have a good evening, the rest of you.
Cheers, mate. Chris, from your point of view, as a semi-neutral, I know you've cheered England when they've scored and won games this tournament, so there's no bitterness there from your point. How did you see that game tonight?
It kind of went the way I thought it would, in the sense of, I felt like whilst England have more quality coming off the bench, I felt like when Rashford came on, he was bright. I felt like they should have used Loftus-Cheek, but in terms of how the way the game went in general, I thought it's going to be a tight game. But ultimately, I think the difference was in terms of the mentality of the players, the experience of the players. Croatia are just better built in that regard. If you look at their main leaders, which are Rakitic and Modric, Lovren, who's just got to a Champions League final, so he comes, as much as he may get his criticism, he does have some very recent valuable experience, like you said,
he does turn up, and
you got Mandzukic, who's been there, treble winning side,
and that's the age thing. I think England was the third youngest squad in the entire tournament, and they have surpassed expectations. But it's having those, the word that's become very popular for us throughout the World Cup, the clutch moments. John Stones, of course, playing for City, and Sterling, they've kind of been doing it. but no one really in the England team have been in a dominant side that have been in regular Champions League finals and big international moments. And Croatia had that over us. So
that's why I said. That's why I said. You know, when we drew Croatia, I said, as much as England should go in there thinking it's a 50-50 game, because in my opinion, it was, you could say maybe 55-45 in Croatia's favour, but it was still very close, still very winnable. But the key difference for me is that Croatia, alongside Belgium and France, have been able to beat sides that are considered peers.
Yes.
And England haven't done that in this tournament. And even though it's a completely different squad to the squad of 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago, England haven't had that where in a knockout stage game they've been able to beat a team that's a peer. Even when the penalty win against Colombia, that was a big moment for England because okay,
I agree.
We've won a shootout.
I agree.
So I think even in this game, had they gone into a shootout, English fans and the English players would have felt a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, no, mate, I completely agree.
I think if you go back to the final group stage game against Belgium, just knowing that you can beat Belgium, you go into a semi-final with I think a little bit of a different mentality because it's like okay, we belong here.
Maybe I get your. I think everything
like
is
it's
right. The only thing I
differences.
disagree with is that we would have been going up against the Belgian team that were changing. We're playing their second string. So if we'd have played our first team and beaten their second string, I don't know if that would have had that same mental impact.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it would have the same extent as opposed to maybe your first game or the second game in the group stage. I don't think it would have been as valuable. But I feel like. Listen, when the margins are so small, I think every little thing helps.
No, I mean, I don't disagree.
I think today is a game where,
yeah,
even though the second half Croatia dominated, well, England dominated the first half.
Yeah, exactly.
So over the span of, and even extra time, same pattern.
I think I understand all that. We're going to jump in some calls in a second. I think from my point of view, when I look at this England team, I was talking about it today with a couple of people at work, and it was very much the case of the majority of this England squad could be there again in 4 years' time. And there'll be some. The one thing they need to add to that, and this isn't criticism, this is saying that England need to develop this. And I think when you look at our under-18s, our under-21s, it's coming through midfield playmakers. And you were talking about during the game, and it's true. We were overrunning midfield a little bit, and I know that there'll be people out there shouting John Joe Shelvey, Jack Wilshere. We need better, and it isn't about those two could have done a job at times in these games, but to think we have to pin all our hopes on John Joe Shelvey is not right, and I don't mean any disrespect to him, but we need to. You look at your Modric's, you look at your people like that. Our youngsters that are coming through now, it's 4 years to develop them. It's a shame we didn't have someone like he hasn't been fit enough, but like this is what Harry Winks is doing in 4 years' time. As an example, you know, Arsenal got some good young midfielders, so have Man United coming through. City and Chelsea have got an abundance of them. How many of them can start getting into, you know, they might have to leave these big clubs. They might have to drop down a slight level in the Premier League to play regularly.
Well,
but that's the point.
I just want to make this quick point. My thing is that obviously I'm a France supporter for anything, but one of the things that kind of kept me from fully wanting England to win is because I felt it would have been ahead of England's time. And what I mean by that is that I think it's still early in the development. I think England this tournament has proved that they're going in the right direction. I was a big advocate of Southgate well before he got the job, and I think going into Euro 2020, going into World Cup 2022, so on and so on. That's when England should look at it as okay. Do you know what? We should go in as challenges from the get go, and not just a hopeful.
I could not agree. Honestly, I could not agree with you more. I mean, it's gonna be difficult playing. That's some seriously hot weather.
That's what I mean.
But we're gonna jump into some calls. We want to hear from you all out there. See what you're thinking, feeling, how emotional you are right now.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Junior.
Hello, Junior. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm a bit upset, but other than that, I'm alright.
I'm not really upset, to be honest. I think England, they did well to get where they got to, but I think they had to because of the teams they were facing.
They had to?
Well, if you look at who they were facing, it wasn't. If they didn't get through, I would have been annoyed. You know what I'm saying? Like Croatia, like the best team they've come up against, and then they lost. So I'm not surprised at the result today because if you look at the teams they faced before, they should have won anyway.
Do you think England were outplayed today, or do you think they just didn't turn up?
I think they didn't turn up today. It's just the way England is. Like, this is your moment to take it, but England always seem to have that. They just can't take that step.
Yeah. Did you look? I understand where you're coming from, but you got to remember this Croatia side, right? They dismantled Argentina. Look, France beat them, and that's different circumstances, group stages to knockout stages. But they dismantled Argentina, And, you know, France, I know they scored 4 goals, still conceded 3. It shows the credentials of Croatia here massively. And you're right, it's the best team England came up against and they got beaten. But this is about going back to the beginning and going back to what people were saying in our comments, on our phone calls, and in the ether of football. England fans, don't write off Tunisia. They're one of the best and hardest African teams to beat. Don't write off Colombia. They're this, they're that, they're the other. Don't just think you're going to walk past them. Whoa, look at Sweden. Look who Sweden have knocked out in the group stages. Look who Sweden have finished in front of in the group stages. Look who they knocked out in qualifying. So every team we've beaten, it was like, the way I felt it was set up by some people is, you don't get carried away, England. You're not good enough to beat them. We beat them, and it's, well, it's who you should be beating. Now we lose a game, it's like, well, see, one difficult team, England, and you lose. And that's why, for me, I can sit here as a very proud man and say, from what my expectations were at the start, we surpassed them. And that way you don't... I think what people do wrong in life, not just football, is they move their expectations too readily. And it can lead to disappointment. But in terms of this England side moving forward, do you think the future is bright? And I think that's the biggest thing to focus on is there a bright future for this England side under Southgate?
Yeah, I think there is a very bright future. A lot of the players are very young and they'll take the experience, and I think they'll be better in the next World Cup. I just think in this World Cup they didn't have the mentality to take that next step. It always seems like this at England, though, like they have that point where they just need to take the next step and they just can't seem to take it. Because I feel like Croatia weren't that good today. They could have, if they took their chances in the first half, then Croatia wouldn't have been able to get back into the game. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's a mentality thing rather than the talent of the team, because I think the team is very talented.
Yeah. Mate, and I think, do you know, I really appreciate your call. Thank you very much. And I think the mentality will come. It comes with experience. So I don't think you can develop that mentality without being in these moments. And this group of players in 2 years' time will be at the Euros, fingers crossed, like we've got to qualify. But if we're there, this experience will take them forward. It's not like, I don't see the same reaction to when we got knocked out in '99 to penalties and there was tears, etc. We've got lots of calls though. We're going to jump through loads of calls and do some quick fire calls for you. We are now live on AFTV as well. Hello to everybody from Arsenal Fan TV. Jay, smash those calls one after the other.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name's Ali.
Oh, hello, mate. You sound really upset. What's happened?
I am absolutely heartbroken.
Wow.
Go on. Tell us why.
It's just this year I really believed, and it just went all to waste. I've never felt this much devastated before, I don't think.
Yo, we need a helpline.
We do.
Listen.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 13.
You're 13.
Oh, okay, I feel bad.
Let me let you know. Let me let you know.
I feel you.
There's some worse things to come in life.
No, listen. On a positive.
Yeah, there's some worse things to come. So don't be that devastated, bro.
Ali, listen. It was 1998, and I cried myself to sleep when David Beckham got sent off. 2006. I was a grown man by then, and I cried. There's nothing wrong with feeling down and disheartened, but I do. I love my nation, so when we do badly or we get let down in situations, it does. But Ali, keep smiling. England are moving forward. It's a bright future. There's so much more to come.
Wait, can I just say something?
Yeah.
I know loads of people are going to call me salty for this, but I also blame the ref. I feel like the ref was quite biased to Croatia. Croatia should have had like 1 or 2 players sent off, and like we should have had a penalty. I think in the first half of extra time, was it?
Yeah.
When Maguire got like pulled down.
Yeah. Ali, mate, look, I really appreciate the viewpoints. People can give us a call and tell us what they think, if they agree with Ali. Let's get more calls through, please, Jay.
Do you not have time for that?
No, because we've got like 20 people waiting on the phone lines.
No, not that, but I mean...
No, the referee made some mistakes, but that ain't why we went out.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name? And please don't cry.
Either Scottish or Irish, one of the two.
Do you know what? I think that was Ali on another phone.
Split personality.
Yeah, all 20 calls are him. Yeah. 20 personalities. Let's get Jay. Just keep doing the calls, bruv. Keep getting them through.
Wow, that was a very crazy laugh. Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name? Hello. Hello.
Yo.
Move on, straight on.
Okay, cool.
Next call, Jay.
Moving.
Nah, let's do this. This is a good one. I've got a feeling. Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What is your name? Ah, maybe not. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, what's your name, brother?
I'm Tate from Liverpool.
You're from Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch YouTube channels.
Good. What do you want to say?
I'm proud of the lads. Can't fault them. Fantastic. The only thing I thought, watched the full game. They defended a 1-goal lead. I don't know why they defended a one goal lead. Yeah. Croatia, an attacking team, they pushed forward. I see what they tried to do with them on the break. It weren't working. No, I can't fault them. No, proud of the lads. That's all I can say.
Mate, listen,
thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you for your call, mate.
Yeah, I agree with that because my thing is, even though England have the players to be able to counter well, I don't think they have the players that are able to really hold their shape and play tight. I think because you're playing Lingard and Ali in front of Henderson. Yeah. Henderson isn't a natural holding midfielder, and Ali and Lingard are natural centre midfielders. I think if you're playing with those players and you're playing with again a natual fullback instead of Young, then you can kind of afford to kind of sit back, soak
you know
pressure.
What, I always talk about parking the bus football. I always use that phrase because people try to make it negative. You need to counter-attack. For it to be successful, you have to counter-attack well. Yeah. So when people park the bus and they counter brilliantly, they're called geniuses. When they struggle to play through to their players, and we did go too long ball, and the longer the game went on, that's what we started to do.
I was actually going to ask you, where do you think it went wrong for England today? Or where would you improve if you had the chance to do
what we saw in today's game against a team like Croatia that are full of ballers, led by Luka Modric, one of the best players in the world? It was that midfield battle in the end, because what I saw was there was some defensive mistakes towards the end. People got tired, they got frustrated, they lost their heads. But there was a disconnect in the middle, and we were being overrun in there, and we were trying too hard to go long and have flick on balls and headers, and it wasn't working. We didn't have the capability to do it because there wasn't people in the squad. But I would have tried to have gone to a 2 or 3 man actual midfield with actual midfield players, and then try and play through. But that's what, like I said earlier, that's what England as a nation now needs to develop over the next 4 years, so we have those options available, because we really needed that today. But I echo what the previous caller said. Still proud of the boys. It's actually weird. I'm just not disappointed. I feel I'm happy with what we've done today.
That's what happens when football fans manage expectations.
Exactly. Well, I did a really big piece. It did quite well. It was one of my biggest viewed videos. It got like nearly 300,000 views. And it was titled, "Will We One Day Hate Marcus Rashford?" And it was when he first broke onto the scene. And it was very much saying, like, talking about the Rooney situation where we set the expectations up here, and because he didn't quite reach them, we hate him for it. And could that happen to Rashford one day? But the same premise is when you set expectations. I keep talking about it with Man United next season, right? Yeah. People keep saying, the football's got to be better. And I keep saying to them, describe to me what that means by football better. And none of them want to do it. And generally speaking, that's because they don't want Jose there. And if they set the standard now of what better looks like, and he achieves it, they're between a rock and a hard place. So what they like to say is, I want the football better. Then they can just keep saying, well, it never met my expectation. Do you get where I'm coming from? And it's very important. Let's get some more calls through, Jay, and then get these people on. It's coming home.
Coming home.
It is coming home. They're coming home.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, you didn't man this.
Sorry, we messed up on the phones there. Adam's, he's all fingers and thumbs.
I'm upset, mate. What do you expect? 50,000 of my head is disrespect. Hello, you're through to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name is James.
Hello, James. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm proud because, you know, I thought we'd get to the quarterfinals and they get knocked out by Germany. So this is a little bit better than what I thought.
It's true. It's a different narrative. It's a different story. So
we did better than Germany. That's
yeah. So I can always be proud of that.
Absolutely.
It's just England, isn't it? We always get so close.
Who do you think disappointed? Some of the individual players. Who do you think disappointed in this particular match?
Gotta be Harry Kane, isn't it? You know, a captain, a goal scorer. Just couldn't get onto the ball, couldn't find those chances.
I mean, let's go through the game. So obviously, key in the first game. Obviously, 2 late goals against Panama. It's like, okay, is it hat-trick? You got a hat-trick, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You got a penalty and a deflection.
Yeah, but it's just like easy. You got that. You didn't play against Belgium in the round of 16. Who did we play again?
Colombia.
Scored
penalty. Look, I would say, Harry Kane didn't have a great game today. I also listen. The one guy, and I think it's worth talking about him, Raheem Sterling at this tournament. I think that I, like a lot of people, have been very reluctant to criticise him because I felt that in the lead up to the World Cup, the guy was getting a lot of stick from the media, which I thought was unwarranted. However, I would put sort of Raheem Sterling into that performance of he showed for the ball, he never hid, he worked hard, and that is all to be commended. But what I didn't see enough from any of our attacking four, including Harry Kane in open play, was taking the opportunities. It was that final ball.
Yeah.
And John Stones on that last goal, just falling asleep.
But that's what I mean. Like, because even John Stones, right, a lot of a defender with a lot of promise, but you only had a great half season at City. And then once he got back, he couldn't get back in the team.
He started 18 games.
There was a comment here.
You got Kyle Walker who's in the natural. Like, forget what you listen. This is the problem. A lot of people see what happens with successful club managers and what they do and how they use players. And yes, there's a degree of validity to being okay. If he plays like that 10 months out of the year, just because he's familiar with the position, I'm going to play him there, right? Kyle Walker at times has played as a right centre half. Doing that for City, with the players around them and with Pep there, is very different to doing for England.
We saw,
and you're seeing Stones. He can't lead a defence at the top level.
We saw John O'Shea at Man United play central midfield and win Premier League titles before, but that's because of what he had wrapped around him. It improves. That's all good. But there's a comment here from Dion Davis. He says the future of England is bright because in 4 years we have the potential of Angel Gomez at Man United. You've got Jadon Sancho that's at Borussia Dortmund. Ryan Sessegnon to come into the thing. Phil Foden,
who has already won the World Cup, by the way.
Yeah, imagine Ryan Sessegnon down that left wing.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the point. That's adding those players potentially to what we already have, going far into a competition, and the most important thing, the nation's believing again. And look, there are going to be some disappointed people tonight. There are still going to be some people that hate, but these people are just going to hate. They're to be ignored. The majority of people are in love with... I literally had people messaging me today asking me when the Premier League's starting, because for 10, 20 years they've not watched a game of football, and they want to get back into it again. So they've made people fall back in love with the sport, and that will do nothing but help this young, exciting team. And for me, there's nothing but pride seeping through me. Mate, thank you for your call.
Thanks.
Oops. So technically, football has come home.
Well, look, if you want to... It's like Santa Claus is real. It's like Santa Claus is real. Because Santa Claus isn't about the fake person. That's right. Father Christmas is the spirit.
I mean, we want to...
Terry?
I mean...
I love that.
There we go.
All right,
I love that.
Getting off England. All right, getting off England for a little bit. Then obviously we've got to talk about Croatia.
Yes.
I don't think there were many people's dark horses going into the tournament.
They were mine.
Oh no, they were.
One of mine.
Many?
Oh mate, they were a team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I said is that if they can play this before the tournament started, if they can play in the knockouts like they played in group stages for the last 4 to 6 years, they could go very far. Did I expect them to be in the final? No. But that's because I kind of expected Brazil and Germany to be a lot better than they were at this tournament. But are they going to beat you guys? I mean, no. They've had 3 lots of extra time. No, you're not. And you know what's nice to me now, actually? I can watch Paul Pogba in the final on Tuesday. Because obviously I can go back to supporting it, like just supporting my club players now. I haven't got to worry about my country anymore. But yeah, it's now Kante and Pogba, Matuidi slightly out of the central midfielder, but those guys are going to dominate that team.
Griezmann as well.
Griezmann and Mbappe. Yeah, it's for me, it's over, and that's me. I can be overconfident now. I don't even care. It's finished. So actually, football could be coming
crazy red card.
The French players play in England, right?
Do you know what?
It's coming home. It's coming home.
Let's not do that.
There we go. I think we've got some videos to play for you all. We're going to get them on for you now, and we'll be back in a few short moments. Take care.
Real fan opinions brought to you by Wash and Go.
And we can all be absolutely proud of taking a nation with them and all those fans before that to watch. I never thought I'd seen scenes like that, to be fair, this week. But the first thing to do is that we can be absolutely proud. We did say before the game that Nigel had to take this opportunity now because it may never happen again. And all our hope is high with them now, disappointed, crying, upset. They get another opportunity as good as the one they just had because that was a huge opportunity. And I feel for them more because of that.
It's not coming home. Unfortunately, it's not coming home. Apart from first half, England did not show up. Second half, extra time, Croatia. I mean, what was the stat at the end? Like 8, 7 shots on goal versus 1, and that's the free kick. I mean, I cannot blame England though. You know, they came further than anyone given them, and I stand behind the country. in the team. So hopefully in the Euros and the next World Cup they do better. That would be a more positive approach. But otherwise, man, Croatia, congratulations, you're in the final. France versus Croatia. I cannot hope now that you win France, because otherwise, you know. Anyways, good luck, guys.
What a game it was. It just ended 2-1 to Croatia. Mandzukic with the second half extra time goal to end England and their run in the World Cup. England are out. Well, they're not out, but they play a third place game. France-Croatia in the final should be a great game, full of stars. Croatia, the underdogs here. France are the favorites going into that game. England played well today, but they just couldn't get the job done after Croatia scored that first goal. It was a great game, honestly. Sad for England, but happy that the "It's Coming Home" chant or song is over. That's the only reason why I was voting for Croatia. But other than that, the final should be good. Even the third place game should be good. We'll see y'all then. Until then, make sure y'all follow me on Twitter or Instagram at hfaisal4.
Real fan opinions brought to you by Wash and Go.
Thank you for those videos. We've got a couple more calls we're going to jump into now that Javern is going to put through to us here in the studio. I think I should wear black more often. I think black's my colour.
What do you call me? Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name? What's your name? And what's your name? Sorry. Yo! Hello, mate.
Yeah, it's Daryl from Middlesbrough here.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not too happy with the result. But the good thing with England is that I would say, we've had a rollercoaster ride this World Cup. It's been the most brilliant and most unpredictable World Cup that England have been partaken. You know, we've done so well to beat we've beaten teams like Colombia. We outdid Sweden in the quarter-final. No one expected us to, to be absolutely dominating them, and that was good. But today I think we seem to just lose our head a bit. The first 5 minutes we did well, got the goal, Kieran Trippier, and then the second half, and we won the game when we conceded, we seemed to lose our head a little bit, and that was the only issue. But I mean, when it comes to Saturday, I mean, it doesn't make a difference where we finish, whether we finish third or fourth in the World Cup. We've still done a fantastic job of actually getting to the semi-finals for the first time since 1990.
Absolutely.
It's been our World Cup won ever, I'd say.
Mate, absolutely, completely agree with you. We really appreciate your call, mate, and we'll speak to you either Sunday or next season. Cheers, mate.
No problem, mate.
Cheers. Next call.
Okay. Hello.
We've got Skype call. We got Skype call on.
You're here, bro. We can hear
Who
you.
this?
About Mandzuki's got a big head.
Hello.
What up?
What's up? What's good,
Hello,
man?
guys. You all right?
Yeah, man. How are you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How y'all doing?
Proud.
I mean, I've been good since yesterday. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, he's French. He's well happy. Yeah, look, I was disappointed to go out. I'm lying if I say I'm not, but I'm just proud of the team's achievements. Managed my expectations throughout the whole tournament and been consistent to that. Disappointed with parts of how we played today. I know that if I listen to some radio stations later, I know there's going to be some people really overly criticising Harry Kane or overly criticising Ashley Young. So some people didn't put in great performances today, but for me, really happy with what we achieved at this World Cup, and it's onwards and upwards from here because the nation's fallen in love with football again, and that's the most important thing, what it's done to the country.
I think that's probably the most important point. This team's still young. There's a lot of players that will be back in 4 years, from the squad. But the thing that killed you again was the not getting the second goal. Those early opportunities and oh man, to be so close. I said it in my fan vid, to be so close, and yet the Subasic, for the ball to go off his back and hit a post. Oh man, I feel for you because it was literally inches away from a final.
A lot of people in the comments are saying things like England's lack of creativity, rare. Well, I don't think that at all. We did struggle in the second half, but in the first half, I think we should have scored 2 or 3 goals, and
absolutely,
and we did that in this World Cup. That's kind of been the song of this World Cup. so many teams have dominated moments and not taken their opportunities. You know, Sweden should have beat Germany that way. Denmark should have knocked Croatia out, but they didn't take the opportunities, and it came back to bite them in the backside.
And Croatia's come back in every single match that they've played, you know, since the knockout
incredibly
phases. I mean,
resilient,
they've literally spent 3 matches coming back in extra time.
Absolutely, and I think that's where France will. Again, France will be more clinical. They've got better attacking players, and if you create those openings and opportunities that England did, and England are regarded as one of the least creative teams at this World Cup, you'll dominate. And then the set piece thing will come into play because you're good from set pieces as well. You've got the great thing with France is you've got this wonderfully technically gifted side, but they are units as well, and you've got the best of both worlds, and they're not like 5'10" and all little intricate wizards. So, I mean, what did you boys make of the game tonight, though, as a spectacle?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, the first half, England owned it, but it was just once Croatia finally got into that groove that they've got into the past 4 games, they'll get in that groove and they'll start pushing and keep pushing. And like I said yesterday, I thought that after 4 games of extra time, continuously running, they're an older squad that eventually their legs would give out. But for some reason, it seemed like their gas tanks would have run out, but the desire, the drive, the want, those types of things kind of overran that gas tank. I mean, I'm over the moon to watch a former Bayern player actually finally fucking do something in this tournament. I mean, yes, Mandzukic was Bayern, but at least it's finally somebody showing up.
That's a big reach.
Shut up! It was one time. Yeah. But I mean, I honestly thought England was going to run them off the field, but they just kept coming. And when it hit extra time, I was like, okay, now it's going to be England goes ahead and shows their youth, their quality. They're just going to run through them, and it just didn't happen.
I totally get. I think it also has to be said that Croatia's midfield is class.
This is the point.
Were on peak performance.
This is what you got to look at. I mean, this Croatia side is made up of players from Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Inter Milan. They are not. You're not playing people that are playing second-rate teams. Relegation teams,
like Tottenham, for example.
But and it's not only that they've had a lot of. We played a very good team tonight, and they beat us 2-1. They could have beaten us by more, but we could have scored more as well. You know, we got beat 2-1 narrowly.
You could have been up 3-0 at halftime.
Could have been, you know. And these are the woulda, coulda, shouldas that you can go back. But all I know is. And gentlemen, thank you again. We're going to talk to you guys on the final. I can't believe it's 64 games we've done by then. It's almost done. It's amazing. Mate, I think all 3 have done. They've got 80% of them.
Before we go, my only thing is Jordan Pickford. That kid's going to be a star.
Yeah.
The attitude that he brought to it, and no, don't give me crap because I'm going to mention the greatest goalkeeper on the planet,
David De Gea.
But he looks like a young Manuel Neuer. The way that he acts, the way that he does. If he can sit there and do some more stuff with his feet, that kid's going to be a freak.
Yeah, that save he made for the Mandzukic when the ball was whipped in from Perisic. I mean, that weren't just a great save. It was brave beyond belief. Like, so brave.
Then him standing over top of him and looking down and just sitting there like,
yes,
I understand I'm like a kid, but I don't give a shit who you are, punk. You're not getting in my net.
Hey, and one quick thing, Terry, I just wanted to let you know, man, I'll be watching the World Cup final with about 75,000 of my friends at the Atlanta United Seattle Sounders match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They'll have the Halo board, so I'll be calling you guys from there before kickoff.
You like that,
mate? Guys, take care of yourselves. Look after yourselves, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Yes, sir.
Listen, everyone, I appreciate you all tuning in. We will be back for the final this Sunday. Obviously, Sorry, mate?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be back for that final.
Cool.
I won't.
Big support in France. I'm going to get behind, obviously, my man Chris here.
What about you, Adam? Who are you going to be supporting?
Listen, I don't watch football. Sorry.
Also, my surname is Fleuers. It is French, so I'm going to... No, I'm not grasping onto it. No, I'm going to support France because of Chris, and I'm also going to support France because... I was going to go for the underdogs, but I changed my mind. And also because Paul Pogba's there, and there is a little sinister part as well, because I would love France to win it because I'd love to see the reaction from Marseille FC. that were like, I just want to be like, they won it without him, and you're crying that he weren't there. Do you know what I mean?
But imagine how much better they would have been if they...
Because remember the first few games, the callers, they're gone. Where they gone? But then they might come back if they lose. Like
France
England
lose,
tonight.
they're gonna come for you,
bro.
bro.
I'm in trouble. Gentlemen, pleasure as always. I'm going to go drown some sorrows now. But well done, England, for a great World Cup. Massive congratulations to Croatia. Thoroughly deserved to be in the final. So well done to you. Join us for the final. We're going to be previewing the game an hour before and covering the game afterwards with a bit of a flavour for what we're going to be doing next season on FanPark Live. So take care. God bless, and see you all again soon. Peace.
Real fan opinions brought to you by Wash and Go.